Hey guys, OG Albine here, bringing you guys another episode of our Draft Week study. Today we're going to be looking at Dracozolt, the Dragon and Electric type fossil from Gen 8 here. Honestly, probably after a minute, after kind of sitting down contemplating on it, I think it's probably my personal favorite, design-wise out of the stars. And I think it's a lot of fun to use, at least in the ladder. Let's see how well that translates to draft though. Now, looking at Dragonzolt's stats, they're nothing too fancy. 90 HP, 100 attack, 90 defense, 80 special attack, 70 super def, and 75 speed. The electric dragon type is pretty unique. The only one to ever really have it would be Mega Ampharos. So not even a secondary form of Pokemon has actually had this type combination before, which is really cool. It's a solid defensive typing. It pivots into a lot. It still has those nice handy resistances of Dragon, while having that that amplified, really good defensive typing in Electric, only being weak to ground type moves, with solid bulk around with 90, 70. Not the bulkiest thing in the world, but it can chew the hits you really need it to. Other than that, though, it looks very mediocre until you take into account its abilities. Its first ability is Volabsorb, which isn't the craziest thing in the world. It provides an electric immunity, which is cool, but at the same time, not the most useful, just because of the fact that you already 4 times resist set electric type moves, so they're not going to be doing too much anyways. I guess it's nice in a very niche situation, but not the biggest deal in the world. But its next 2 abilities are where it really shines. His next one is Hustle. That's the primary ability you're seeing running around right now because it is released. The next ability we'll talk about is currently unreleased, but a lot of draft leagues, especially ones on Showdown, are allowing it, so we'll definitely talk about it in today's video. But Hustle is very strong. It's going to boost your physical attacks by, what's the exact number? Oh my gosh, I should totally have my Dracozolt notes pulled up here, but I am completely unprepared and I don't. Let's see. It's going to boost your attack by 1.5, but then it's going to reduce your accuracy by 20%, which is unfortunately accuracy drop, but that makes this thing really strong on top of that 100 attack in a certain signature move, which is going to be called Bolt Beak. It's 85 base power, 100 accuracy, which is, a decent, nice physical electric stab to spam. But what we don't take into account is the fact that the power of this move is doubled if the user moves first. So you take into account that Hustle boost, you're going up to 1.5 times. Say you're going up against a Mon that you're faster than because you're scarfed, just quickly slow them on, you got webs up, something like that. Then you check on a Life Orb, you check on a Choice Band, you throw on a Magnet or something like that. And that move is doing astronomical amounts of damage, like a ridiculous amount of damage. So that's really cool. That's what really this thing's bread and butter is. Just like Big Dracovish, which I'm sure you guys all know, Bolt Beak is just the electric type version of that. But really cool move that you can potentially take advantage of with proper team support and proper prep, which is really where this thing's going to shine. Now, getting back to the abilities though, it has access to Hustle, like I said, which is very solid, especially for that immediate just boost in power. At the cost of a little bit of accuracy. But another option on this thing, if you're playing in a Showdown League that is allowing, unreleased hidden abilities and stuff like that, is going to be Sand Rush. And Sand Rush, what it does is it doubles the Pokemon's speed if sand is up. And it also gives you an immunity to Sandstorm, which is nice, so you're not taking that extra chip every turn. But Sand Rush is great because you're essentially guaranteeing that your Bolt Beak is going to be able to go first and really just nuke the opponent, which is, again, really the point of this thing. You're going to want to Bolt Beak everything you can. You're going to want to try and get rid of everything that does not get hit by Bolt Beak with other team members and just coverage moves, stuff like that. Need text you can slap on this thing. But Sand Rush is a really cool ability in a matchup where Bolt Beak is especially spammable. I think Hustle is better if you just want that better overall damage output, which can kind of augment this thing's pretty mediocre 100 attack with other moves like its Dragon Stab and coverage and stuff like that. But if you really want that Bolt Beak damage, you're going to be going with Hustle in that sense. But yeah, that's going to be its stats, abilities, and typings right here. Kind of want to jump into its moveset and some potential moves that you're going to potentially see on this guy in a draft league setting. The first set of moves here, we just have some offensive moves. We have moves like a Bolt Beak, Dragon Claw, Fire Fang, Low Kick. Bolt Beak, like we talked about before, this is going to be the most spam move that you're going to click on this thing. You're honestly going to click this thing 8 or 9 times out of 10. You're going to try and outspeed things and just nuke them with that 180 base power electric stab move, which is obviously super clean. Dragon Claw is going to be your physical Dragon Stab of choice. You also do get access to Outrage, but honestly, with this mod, I feel like you don't really want to lock into Outrage if you don't need to. Some matchups you may need the extra damage output from from Outrage to really get that KO you need. But most of the time, I feel like you don't want to lock it Outrage because you want to be able to switch up and go for that big Bolt Beak. Fire Fang is also really nice for Steel types. Someone switch on you because you're a dragon, as well as low kick, which is obviously super clean. Just depending on what you're going up against, what you hit harder with what, I figure both moves can be pretty useful depending on the matchup. Jumping into the next set of moves, we also have Earthquake, which is again a very nice move to hit those Steel types. Also hit those Electric types, so I want to switch in and take that Bolt Beak from you, which is obviously really nice. Air Release is cool because the Hustle Boost is a move that cannot miss, and if you're playing in a Dynamax League and you get +1 speed with this thing, then you kind of auto-win, but you shouldn't be playing in Dynamax Leagues, or at least leagues that are allowing you to Dynamax Dracozolt. If they're letting you do that, you should play Draft Racing Round 1, honestly. And then we also have access to Draco Meteor and Fire Blast. And despite this thing being primarily a physical attacker, it still has a semi-usable special attack stat in 80. So being able to throw off big Draco Meteors and Fire Blast is definitely an option if you're facing up against a big, fat, physically defensive wall that's going to check you otherwise. You never know, you might need to drop a Draco or a Fire Blast on him or something like that. Then the last set of moves right here, we have some, some support moves that Dracozolt does have access to, being Taunt, which is obviously really nice for those bulky, fat, passive mons. Substitute to try and get behind a sub and really switch up your dual stabs a little bit more. Endure, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I have a really fun idea with Endure. And then Thunder Wave to slow things down so you can hit them with that big Bolt Beak. Again, while it does have a great defensive typing and it can switch into potentially some pretty solid hits, you're mostly going to be using this thing in an offensive manner. So being able to slow things down with a Thunder Wave, though, can obviously be really nice, not only for Draco to outspeed them, for the rest of your team to do so as well. But yeah, those are going to be, honestly, the main moves that Dracozolt has. Not the deepest move pool in the world, but it's kind of like a Toxtricity, and the moves that it has are kind of what it needs. So we're going to actually just jump right into a couple sets. First, I want to just talk about a Choice Dracozolt. We have a Choice Scarf or Band on the set with Hustle, Max Attack, Max Speed. Again, we're not really going to dive too deep into the EV game, just because there isn't an actual matchup for me to really play out right here. Obviously, you're going to be speed creeping. You're going to be trying to live certain hits after rocks. You're going to try not to get too KO'd by something. But in this, we're just going to go, this is an offensive set, so we're going Max Attack, Max Speed. But we have both the Dragon Claw, Earthquake, Low Kick. You also can check on a Fire Fang. Something of the sort, so you're going up against a really bulky grass or something like that. This set, its goal is to just go first and hit really hard. Choice Scarf, if you need it as a speed control, you need it to guarantee outspeed some stuff. Band is really good if your pen gets, a really fatter build, or you're playing against, a team that's really susceptible to webs, and you draft webs around this thing, which can obviously be super clean. I really think Dracozolt appreciates web support a bunch. So this is, again, just going to be set that clips Bolt Beak most of the time. You might try and catch something with a coverage move every once in a while, or if you come in to revenge something with a coverage move, that's obviously super nice. Dragon Claw is going to be the second most used move, of course. Being your secondary stab. Oh, excuse me. Recording this too late at night, I apologize. But yeah, that's going to be the same basis behind the choice set. Again, you're just going to try and click buttons. It's a pretty brainless set in all honesty. You can kind of see what it does on paper. Nothing too crazy there. Next, I want to jump on the Life Orb. Same idea, but you're jumping out with even more damage. This set, depending on if you draft Sand, I can definitely see a Life Orb with Sand Rush being a very viable option because you're not really getting that hustle boost, but you're getting that really nice speed boost. So under the Sand, Life Orb Bolt Beaks are going to be doing a ton of damage. Dragon Claw, Earthquake, and Low Kick / Fire Fang. Obviously, same coverage. Again, you're going to be running most of the same offensive moves on Big Dracozolt here, but what it does very well. And in the Sand, I think this thing can be incredibly valuable. Like, I really love the core of, like, Hippowdon, or, like, T-Tar plus Extra plus Dracozolt if you have a lot of points to spend, or you could even go Gigalith plus Dracozolt plus Excadrill, which is probably more so the route that I would go. Just because I like Gigalith a lot, and it's a budget Sand setter that does its job very well. I think Dracozolt could fit super well in those just because it breaks those water types that Excadrill gets really annoying with, to be completely honest. Next up, we have another Life Orb set. This time I just took off a coverage move, threw on Draco Meteor. You can also throw on a Fire Blast. Same idea as the last one, but with this set, you're honestly just trying to, depending on the matchup, catch something that might be a more physically defensive wall with like a Draco Meteor, follow that up with like a Dragon Claw or a Bolt Beak, and hopefully take them out with your decently usable special attack set plus a Life Orb. You're going to be able to do some decent damage there. So I figured it's a pretty decent option in itself to check on, nice go for a nice mixed life orbs or something like that. You can also go hasty, obviously, depending on what you want to take a hit from, what's on the opposing team, and all that good stuff. Next up, I have a really cool set. This is going to be Dracozolt holding a Slackberry with the Hustle ability. Again, max speed, max attack, Jolly Nature, Bolt Beak, Dragon Claw, Fire Fling, Low Kick, or Earthquake. It couldn't really fit on the slide. And Endure. Now, Endure is really cool because if you can Endure on the right turn and get your opponent to attack into you, bring you down to 1 HP, give you that Salac Berry, you essentially have that Choice Scarf boost with all big Bolt Beaks, but with the opportunity to switch up your moves if you really need to. But I think the set could actually be really, really cool in some matchups, depending on what you're playing against. Depending on if there's, like, much priority, if you're not playing against, like, sand, ironically, because you're not Sand Rush, so you're not going to really be avoiding said sand. But, obviously, I think Sand Rush would be better in that matchup then. But, regardless, I think the Salac Berry set could be actually really, really cool, depending on the matchup. I would love to try and use this set against an opponent as a late game win con. It'd be really cool. Next up, we have another really fun set. It's actually going to be a sub T-Wave set, Bolt Beak and Dragon Claw. The idea of this set is more so going to be paralyze your opponent so you can outspeed them, and then blow them back with your dual steps that hit, majority of the game very, very hard. With the Hustle booster, you're still going to be hitting hard despite no boosting item. And then again, trying to guarantee that Bolt Beak is going first is obviously going to be really nice. And it's also just good beyond the fact that you're trying to get plus speed, be faster with your Dracozolt. You're also slowing down the rest of your team for your opponent, and that yellow magic is always a good thing to see, just because, you never know, you get that very clutch pair on your opponent, and it could, even potentially win you a game. So I really do think that the sub-T set could actually be a lot of fun as well. And then the last set that we're actually going to be talking about here is going to be another substitute set, but we're going to be Subcharged Bolt Beak Dragon Claw. Now, I actually saw someone run this set. It's the only reason I included it, because I wouldn't have ever thought of this, but my boy D-Ray, I'll definitely link him in the description below. He's an awesome dude. He's one of the people I absolutely love watching their content for. He brought a Subcharged Bolt Beak Dragon Claw Dracozolt with lefties and a UPO game, and it put on a ton of work. It was a really, really cool set. Now, Charge is going to be mostly boosting up your electric type moves, which is obviously going to be super dope. It's going to make them 2 times power, but it also gives you the added benefit of being +1 Spit F, which is really good with your naturally great defensive typing. And if you keep getting plus Spit F on something, you can potentially sub up in the face of some weaker special attackers, which is obviously super, super clean. Lefty's giving you that residual, and then your dual stabs just doing a bunch of damage. So I think this set's actually really, really cool. Shouts out to D-Ray. I'll definitely link him in the description below. I actually think he uploaded that game where the Dracozolt used a Subcharge set. So definitely go check him out. That's super, super cool. But yeah, that's going to be Dracozolt. Another option I didn't really put on here would be, I think Assault Vest could always work with this thing, just because, again, it's natural good defensive typing. You're going to be running 4 attacks on this thing most of the time anyway, so I don't think you lose too much in going with that, over depending on, what you need to live and all that good stuff. But Dracozolt, obviously going to be really fun mod. Like I said before, I think this thing fits incredibly well on sand. Excadrill plus, this Dracozolt here is going to be an annoying offensive pair to try and check defensively. You're going to hit so many things so hard. You also want some things that can, break those ground types very well, that can switch into your Bolt Beak and potentially scare you out with an EQ. I think having a sturdy water type, a nice offensive ice, like if you can get Darm plus Dracozolt, I think that's really nice, just because the momentum bring in Dracozolt and then throwing off those big hits is obviously super clean. Potential Seismitoad would be really cool as a rocker as well. This guy, actually really like that idea. And yeah, that's gonna be Dracozolt. Like I said, I think it's a lot of fun in the draft form. I think it has a lot of potential outside of your just standard Scarf and Banded hustle sets. I think once, especially if your league isn't allowing, unreleased abilities, I think once this thing is like widespread Sand Rush is allowed, I think it's going to be very, very good in the sand. Very fast and very strong with that Bolt Beak, which is again going to be the allure of this guy. But yeah, that's just about all I have to talk about. Thanks a bunch for watching, guys. If you're new and you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe and all that good stuff, just so you can catch our draft analysis, our draft